All right, let's jump right into an idea that pretty much flips everything we're taught about money on its head. We've all been told the same story, right? Pile up assets, a house, stocks, you name it. But what if that's all wrong? What if real wealth isn't about what you own, but what moves?
Just let that sink in for a second. You could be sitting in a $1 million house, looking great on paper. But if your income dries up for half a year, who's really in charge? Yep, the bank. This one quote gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's not about your net worth. It's about your cash flow.
And this all boils down to one powerful idea, the Bloodstream Principle. I want you to think about it like this. Just like blood in your body, your money has to circulate. The second it stops moving, your financial life starts to suffocate. So today, we're going to break down exactly why cash flow, that circulation, is the actual key to freedom.
Okay, first up, we need to dismantle what I call the asset illusion. This is the incredibly dangerous belief that a big number on a spreadsheet makes you wealthy. And trust me, it's a trap that so many people fall into. So take a look at this. You've got two people. Person A brings in a steady $4,000, month in, month out. Person B, on the other hand, owns $400,000 in assets but has no reliable income. So let me ask you, who's actually freer? I mean, society celebrates person B, right? But the reality is, person A with that consistent flow has way more security and a heck of a lot more options.
And here's why. Because when a real crisis hits, and they always do, and the market just freezes up, that $400,000 asset can become totally illiquid. It's just a number you can't touch. But that $4,000 hitting your bank account like clockwork, man, that's not just money, that's oxygen. That is your lifeline when everyone else is gasping for air.
And that leads us to the fatal mistake. I mean, this is the #1 reason people get into financial trouble. They spend all their time and energy building fat before they build blood. They're focused on looking big and impressive from the outside, but there's nothing circulating on the inside to keep it all alive.
So this is the mental model I want you to walk away with. Your financial life is like a body. Your assets, that's your fat. Sure, it's useful, it's stored energy, but your cash flow, that's your blood. You can survive a long, long time with very little fat. But what happens if your blood stops flowing? It's over, fast. So you basically have two types of people in this game. You have the crowd. They're the ones building fat. They take on debt, chase the latest hot stock or crypto coin. They build all this weight, but there's no circulation. And then you have the cash flow player. They do the exact opposite. They build the bloodstream first, and only when that income is strong and steady do they use the extra to buy assets. And we see how this plays out every single market cycle, without fail. When the market inevitably takes a dive, the person who's all fat and no blood, they're terrified. They can't sleep at night. Every tick down on the screen feels like a personal attack because their whole financial life is tied to that number. But the cash flow player, it's a completely different reality. When prices fall, they don't see a crisis, they see a sale. They're not panicking, they're shopping. Because their lifestyle isn't funded by their portfolio, it's funded by their income. A market crash for them is the biggest Black Friday event of the year.
And listen, if you think this is just some cute personal finance idea, think again. This exact principle is the engine that has built the biggest corporate empires in the world. The giants, they understand the power of the bloodstream better than anybody. I mean, just think for a second about what these huge companies actually sell. It's not flashy one-off luxury goods. It's the boring stuff. Food, soap, toothpaste, things people buy over and over and over again, no matter what the economy is doing. They aren't selling products, they're selling repetition.
Their strategy is beautifully simple, and it's incredibly powerful. First, they totally dominate a repetitive need. This creates a massive, predictable river of cash. And then, and only then, do they use that river of cash to go out and buy the big assets, like real estate, new technology, or even their competitors.
So here's the absolute key. When you see someone like Bill Gates becoming one of the biggest owners of farmland in America, you have to understand he didn't buy that on a loan or with wishful thinking. He bought it with the surplus cash flow from his already powerful empire. The asset is the reward, not the engine. The engine is the bloodstream. Okay, so this all sounds great for giant corporations, but how do we actually apply this to our own lives? Well, the trick is to reverse the way we've been taught and intentionally rebuild our financial bloodstream. So let's get into the plan.
Here it is. It's a 3-step plan. It's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Step 1, your absolute obsession becomes building cash flow. Step 2, you optimize that flow, making it as strong and reliable as possible. And step 3, you use the surplus, that's what's left over after you live, to buy assets.
Now, for that critical first step, you've got to start thinking like the giants. What are the essential, recurring needs all around you? Can you start a subscription? Can you sell things people use up and have to buy again? Can you offer a service that people just can't cut from their budget? Those are the building blocks of your financial bloodstream.
And that brings us to the golden rule of buying assets. You really need to burn this into your brain. You only acquire an asset when your living expenses are already comfortably covered by your existing cash flow. This gives you the power to hold on through any storm, so you are never, ever forced to sell at the worst possible time.
So let's wrap all this up with what I believe is an unbreakable law of finance. This isn't just a strategy. It's a whole new mental model for how you should think about building wealth.
And the law is simply this: money must flow. If you trap your money in stagnant assets that don't produce any income, you're just setting yourself up to suffocate when the economy turns. Wealth is a verb, not a noun. It's an action. It's a process.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Building your financial life around the Bloodstream Principle isn't just about playing defense. It's about playing offense. It's about preparing yourself so that when the next downturn inevitably comes, you're not the one panicking. You're the one with cash, ready to hunt for opportunities. You're the hunter, not the hunted. The choice is yours.